Hello everyone, welcome back to Classical Automotive Services. Right, this week we haven't got a great deal to sort of go through, as we spent the whole week last week on the Platinum TR8. That is now pretty much done and finished. It's 95% finished. It's on the road, so it's on the road for the first time since 1992, and I've been asked by the customer to actually use it as a daily car, to get some miles on it and shake it down and just make sure it's all good to go, do any final tweaks to it, and then there's a few upgrades we want to do on it as well, and then it's ready to be handed over and go off and live its life, which will be nice, as that car has got a tiny bit of a sad story to it. The person that built it in the first place back in the early 90s didn't actually get to use it or build it after they built it, so it got left in storage for all them years. So it's actually spent more time off the road than it has on the road. So it's nice that it's back on the road now. It does drive exceptionally well. The car isn't actually here, it's actually at home at the moment. So because it didn't get home completely and utterly trouble-free. It got halfway home and the alternator decided it was going to fail. So it's been absolutely fine here. It's been run for a number of hours now and it's been absolutely fine. It's done short trips up the road, absolutely fine, but took it on the journey home, which is around sort of 7 to 10 miles, got halfway there, alternator failed. So that's the whole point of doing shakedown miles, because you might get these little things that happen. So I've got to get a new alternator for it and fit that and then carry on using it. So it's nothing serious. So that, yeah, like I said, that's not here at the moment. We have got some pictures of it, which we'll put at the end of the video with the new interior in it. Well, I say good second-hand interior that we've put in it. The only thing we haven't done yet is change the door cards, as we haven't got them. We're waiting for them to be delivered so we can change door cards over. But yeah, other than that, it's up and running, ready to go, and it's coming on very nicely. So that's what we've been up to this week, because we really wanted to push on and get that done, to get it out. So next week, first of all, next week we're going to have a really good sort out in here. We've got loads of interior parts and stuff like that kicking around. We've got 3-4 sets of seats over there. We've got interior door cards, dashboards, carpet sets and things like that, which I'm going to take home and store at my house in the sheds I've got at home. So it creates some more space in here. Plus they're safe there. They're not going to get any muck and crap on them and dust and debris or damaged anyway. So they'll be safe there and out the way. And we can just bring them back as we need them. So, and then we've got panels to sort out, engines to move around and stuff like that. So we're going to have a really good sort out here on Monday morning. And then next week we will be hopefully maybe towards the end of the week on this Lotus and start getting the engine and gearbox out of this. We are going to go and look at the Saab in a minute and go and see if we can investigate what's going on with that, because I have had it running, but I'll talk about that when we go over to it. And we've also got the Bristol, which arrived 10 minutes ago. If you remember, if you go back a few videos, well, a number of months now, it was towards the end of last summer that we done it. The dark blue Bristol, I think it's 603, if I remember rightly. So that's back in because it sprung a leak on one of the core plugs on the engine block, which is, again, one of them things with classic cars. So that's coming for that to be rectified. I've had a quick look at where it is and it doesn't look like a fun job to do, but we'll get it sorted out. So that's going to be early part of next week's job as well. Early next week, I think Ross will be probably back on the 7. He's still got all the panels and everything to prep and get them prepped and sorted out. So yeah, very, very busy. But we'll go and have a look at this Saab and see if we can work out what's going on with it. Right, here we've got the Saab. Now, I have had this running, and I think I said in the last week's video or the week before, it had been somewhere else before, and it's had the timing gear on the front of the engine changed. And since then, it has not run correctly. So, and I've been told that it appears that the ignition timing is moving, which is a bit odd, something I've not come across like that. But I have had it running, and I've had it running for about 30 seconds. And initially it fired up and it ran actually really quite well for about 15 seconds. And then it just went downhill from there. I struggled to keep it going. It got worse and worse and worse for the next sort of 10-15 seconds and eventually died. Come to try and restart it, as I was spinning it over, all it was doing was popping and banging out the carburettor, popping and banging out the exhaust, exactly like the ignition timing is out. So I'm not quite sure what can actually cause that on this. We've got to sort of start delving into it and have a look. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the distributor out, as I'm suspecting maybe it's got either, I don't know anything about these engines yet, I've not even looked into it. On the bottom of the distributor you've got a drive gear, and then drive gears have a dowel pin in them sometimes, or a roll pin. I'm wondering if that's sheared and it's slipping a little bit as the engine runs, or if it's got a missing tooth on the distributor drive and it's getting a little bit of load on it and skipping a tooth, and then eventually just cutting out and dying and getting worse. So my first port of call is I'm going to pop the distributor out and have a quick look. So we'll do that now and see if there's anything obvious on there, because timing is definitely moving and we don't know why. So the distributor is tight. I have checked that. It isn't just floating around, so there's something not quite right. So if there's nothing I can see on the distributor, then we're going to have to start delving into the rest of the engine possibly and going from there. What I will do first, if there's nothing wrong with it, is I will time it back up and see if it'll run again and see if it does the same thing. And once I've timed it up, I'll know where I've set the distributor, and if then it cuts out and dies, I can then time it back up again and check where the distributor's pointing. If it's in a different place, then we know we've got an issue. So we'll pop the Dizzy out and just have a quick inspection on the bottom of it. As you can see, that's actually the first time I've popped that off. The distributor cap and the leads are new, rotor arm's new, points are new. So someone has been having issues with this engine for probably a while, trying to fault find it. So we'll pop this out. Let's have a look on what's going on. I'll pop that out. Let's put that somewhere safe for a minute. Put that. Let's pop the vacuum line off. It's come off the carb as well. That's lovely. Can we unplug this? It's cable tied up. It's on the coil. Unplug that. Feed that through. If that'll go through, that'll be good. Come on. There we go. Let's have it out. Oh, it appears to be stuck in the engine, although it rotates freely. That's odd. There we go. Okay. And we'll just have a look at the gear. There's some form of debris in there. Well, there's no missing teeth on that, and this is a roll pin type, so that gear is held onto the actual drive with a roll pin. It's there, doesn't look deformed or twisted. Doesn't want to turn. So I'd say it's not sheared. There's no excessive play in it. Maybe a tiny bit of up and down end float. But it has got some weird sort of debris. If you look at my finger, there's weird sort of debris on the actual gear, which is hard and gritty, which I'm not a fan of. So look at let's have a feel of the gear in there. That all feels and looks okay. So at the moment, a bit stumped. So I think we'll have to pop the rocker cover off, bring it around to TDC on number 1, pop the distributor back in with it at number 1. Does that drive an oil pump or anything? Yes, okay. So the distributor drives an oil pump as well. So there is a bit of load on there, so don't know. We'll pop the rocker cover off, bring it around TDC number 1 and put the distributor back in and see if it will actually start and see what it does. Maybe, when I took the distributor cap off just a minute ago and took the distributor out, the rotor arm didn't appear to be on fully, so maybe that was the issue. Could be something as simple as that. Maybe I should have checked it just a minute ago before I took it out, but when I checked the shaft off the distributor cap, the rotor arm did go on a bit more and lock into place, so maybe the rotor arm was moving. But we'll time it up, see if it will start. If it does, and it stays running, then, well, I don't know. It might be just a case of it was that rotor arm. So I'll get a cloth and we'll go from there. So as we've got on there, 7/16. Get this off. And the reason I'm pulling the rocker cover off to do the timing is purely the fact you can get it 180 degrees out if you don't. This, although it's a little V4, this is number 1 cylinder. So I want to bring it around TDC on the crankshaft and then make sure both valves on number 1 cylinder are actually shut. So if they're shut, that's on the firing stroke. If they're not, then you're 180 degrees out. So you have to then turn the crankshaft another 360 to get it in the right place. Otherwise, you'll go to fire it up and you'll have a flame and thunder show out the carburettor and the exhaust. It'll just pop and bang and won't actually do anything. That's a different size, that one. Odd. Oh no, let's get a different size. Wimp this off. Fixings in the middle of it as well. Didn't want that to come off easily, did I? There's that and that. Last one. There we go. Nowhere to put your tools on this car. Right. There we go. Let's just pop. Does that come off? Yeah, there we go. This is some sort of breather. Careful of that gasket, don't we want to break it if I can help it. get that off. There we go. It's already broken on that corner anyway. That's a shame. Let's just see if I can peel it off. We'll have to have a new gasket at some point because that will probably leak. It's a bit grimy. Okay. So what I will do now is I'll turn the engine so it's a TDC on number 1. Make sure both of these valves, if you come in, make sure both of these valves are actually shut. They're not at the moment because I haven't even turned the engine, but the inlet valve for number 1 is at the exhaust. I'd say that's the exhaust because I've got one port there. The exhaust valve on number 1 is actually open and inlet is closed. Most cars actually have the exhaust on the first cylinder there. So, but this is backwards. So we will rotate the engine and go from there. Right, I brought the engine round TDC on number 1, and if you come in and have a look at the rockers, both of them have got clearance, and if we look down the front, if you come round down the front, you'll see this come round. If you look down the very front of the engine, you can see the timing mark, and it is pointing handily. They've got a little pointer marked TDC. So we've lined up TDC number 1 on the firing stroke. So what we'll do now is we'll put the ship back in. So what we need to know is number 1 cylinder. I know the rotation of these is correct because I have had it running already. It's on 4 cylinders. If it wasn't running at all, I would start again and just make sure they're all in the correct orientation. So that one there is number 1. So if we just put the distributor cap on quickly. Which way does it go? Like that. So number 1 is pointing pretty much at that screw there. So the rotor arm needs to be pointing pretty much at that screw for it to be on in the right place. That is the base timing sort of set. It might need some adjustments to make it run, but it should be somewhere close. So if we put that in, see where we're at. It's not going to go down there. Let's rotate it a little bit. It's not going to line back up the oil pump, is it? I might turn the engine a little bit. Yeah, it's not going to drop in. So what we're going to have to do is rotate the engine a little bit. So if I put it in gear, we'll move it a little bit, see if we can get the drop in. If the engine will turn. Moved a little bit. Dropping. Try going backwards. There we go, she's in. So that's going to be right around there though. We're a bit out. Fun. Do it again. So we're quite a way out. So if I bring it back up, bring that round to about there. that's better. So that's all loose. If I bring that round to TDC again, point at number 1. There we are. That rotor arm's got to point pretty much at that screw, which it is. What we'll do is we'll put the clamp on, nip it so we can move the distributor to try and get it to fire up. We might stand a chance of it actually running. Just nip it up. How much movement has that got? A bit tighter. That's it. That'll allow me to adjust it to get it to run, and it won't move when the engine's running. Plug it back on there temporarily. Anyway. So we're pointing at that screw, so we're at somewhere close to number 1. It's not going to be set right. It will need setting up, but we should be able to move it a little bit just enough to get it to run and see what we're doing. I'll leave the rocker cover off for a minute so we can see what we're doing. I can put it on afterwards. It shouldn't put too much oil. In fact, there's loads of oil in there. I will put the rocker cover back on. Okay, I'll quickly put the rocker cover back on, then we'll try it. Distributor rotates, so I know if it advances and retard, to advance and retard it, if need be. Let's just nip these up. Like I said earlier, it will need a new rocker cover gasket as it's split, but we're only after getting it to run to diagnose it and check it at the moment. So it's not an issue. At the moment, we don't want to be spending money on parts until we know what's wrong with it and what we've got. Someone's out on their bikes today, isn't it? Mm. That's that. Okay. Put the battery on. I think these are still 1342 foreign order. I'm not 100% sure. I know some Fords aren't. One. Do these go 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good question actually. I'm assuming that's 3. So 1, 3. Is that 4? Yes. 2. Yeah. So it goes that way. So to advance it, go that way. Okay. Let's see if it would actually do anything. Here. Not even firing. Give it a little more advance. Yeah, a lot of fuel going in there. Flooded. Let's see if I can hold the choke open. And hold the choke open a bit. Try it again, if not, we'll check the spark. Nothing. Let's just turn the ignition on. Have we got a spark at the points? Yeah, they're sparking. It's weak. Battery pump got any fuel in it? Where's the accelerator? Yeah, pumping fuel. Let's give it some more. Try one more time. If not, it might have fouled up all the plugs. No, nothing. Okay. Alright. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there this week, and I'm going to have to do some more investigation into this as to why it's not even firing and running. We know the ignition timer is set somewhere close enough so it should at least do something. We'll have to pull the spark plugs out and start checking, working our way back. So we'll have to start going through the checks, and go from there. So on that note, we'll quickly show you the Bristol has arrived over there. So that's in for the core plug. So on that note, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. And I will have this running next week, and we'll put a video in next week of it running and what we actually find. So please like and subscribe. See you next week.